It's really rare that I come across someone who tells me, I don't like goats. It's hard to believe that was actually me only a few years ago. And then goats came into my life and I fell in love with them. And there's so many things to love about them, right? Their personalities, they're so much fun. The way they bounce around when they're little baby goats. But there's also some real purpose that drives the goat industry. Those purposes are things like fiber, meat, milk. Of course, there's pets, but also pack goats. So we're going to explore each of those categories briefly, just to give you a whole understanding of all the purposes for goats. So the first type of goat that I will be talking about is the fiber goat. Examples of fiber goats are the Angora goats, the cashmere goat. Did you know that cashmere came from goats? Have you ever bought a cashmere sweater that came from a goat? It's pretty amazing, isn't it? The Angora goat grows something called mohair, which again is made, when I say fiber, I mean it's like sheep. When you shear off their wool, we use the wool to make so many products that we wear and carry. It's the same thing with the fiber that comes from the goats. Angora goat makes the mohair, cashmere goat makes cashmere. The next category is meat goats. The meat goat was introduced to the United States not that long ago, and it's still that the majority of the goat meat is imported into the United States. So if you're looking for maybe something to get into as far as farming for yourself, the meat goat might be something to consider. Goat meat is the #1 consumed meat in the whole entire world. I can't say that statistic applies true to the United States, but it's still very impressive. The goat itself is the oldest farm animal in existence, so it only makes sense that is the most consumed meat. Examples of meat goats are goats like Boer, Kiko, Savannah, Spanish. Meat goats are very docile creatures and you can handle them easily. They do grow to be incredibly large animals, which is why they are the meat goats. They have really big, thick necks, stocky bodies. The next category we're going to talk about is milk. This is my bread and butter. This is what I do every day. I am a dairy goat farmer. Different breeds of dairy goats are goats like the Saanen, which is a big white goat. If you've ever seen a commercial dairy farm, it's most likely they housed the majority of Saanen. They produce a gallon and a half of milk a day, which is very impressive for such a small animal when compared to a dairy cow. Other breeds are breeds like La Mancha, which are very recognizable because of their very tiny, tiny small ears. To be considered La Mancha, their ears have to be less than 1 inch in size. You have goats like the Nubian, the Toggenburg, Alpine, Nigerian Dwarf. There are some of those breeds that cross over into the meat world as well. So you can category a specific breed as this is a dairy goat, for example, the Nubian, but the Nubian also can go for harvest for meat because the male Nubians will grow to a very large size. So the next category is pets. Of course, goats are so much fun just to keep as pets. Truly, any goat in any of these categories could be kept as a pet. It's whatever you want. But typically, goats that are kept as pets are pygmy goats, which are very, very small goats that just kind of bounce around all day and have fun. Nigerian dwarfs are also kept as pet goats, even though they produce a really high quality, delicious, creamy milk. They're little tiny goats, so they make really great pets too, and you certainly don't ever have to milk them if you didn't want to. The last category of goat is the pack goat. A pack goat is most likely a dairy goat because I would not use a meat goat or a fiber goat for packing. Packing is when you use an animal to put extra cargo on for when you're going out in the woods or working around the farm. So they can actually wear specific harnesses made for them, and they can carry up to 25% of their body weight. The goats that we use for packing are goats called wethers. Wether means that they were castrated at a young age. Because their castration happened at a younger age, all of the energy and growth ability that would have went into their secondary sex organs went into the growth of their body. They end up being very tall, lean, nimble, graceful goats. They're full of personality and they're fun, and they go with you on the trail. So those are the 5 purposes to keep goats: fiber, meat, milk, pets, and pack. I hope you learned something from this video. Feel free to comment down below and I can answer any further questions that you might have that I know the answers to. If not, I can try to point you in the right direction. Feel free to subscribe. More videos are coming. You can learn all about goats. Have some fun with us on the farm.